How's it going, happy campers, and welcome back to another episode of Trailmakers Creations by ThatDomGuy. Today we are going to be starting with the Vulcan attack helicopter. This is a two-seater helicopter. As you can see, we have a seat in the front here, the indestructible seat, and then we got a pilot seat back here. So from the pilot seat, we have control over, yes, there's 4 missiles on there. From here, we have our propellers. We can lift off vertically, no problem. There is a small stabilizer in there connected to some angle sensors, of course. So this chopper, we have our basic controls. We can fly around in helicopter mode, which is all fine and dandy. We have 3 small props up there on top just for that little bit of extra lift because it was starting to get heavy with just these regular sized propellers like this. So had to add some of them small ones in there as well. So as you can see, we can fly around pretty good as a chopper this way. But when we hit number 1, we go into our forward mode, which kind of shrinks everything up and solidifies everything, rotates our propellers forward like this. So one of our small propellers comes up here. Our propellers rotate forward and the tail gets sucked in a little closer. You can see here when I change, the tail will extend out, giving me more lift, more stability in the back when I'm in chopper mode like this. But then when we go into forward thrust mode, everything kicks in, rotates. Now, when you're in flight mode like this, flying forward mode, we can't launch our missiles because then they'll just end up crashing right into our propellers, which is not really a good way to fly around with no propellers in your helicopter. Then you'll be a groundicopter. Ta-da! Gravity, it's a thing. So we can fly along like this, and then we can switch back to helicopter mode. This is once we have reached our target. So let's say, for example, our target was over at the docks. Let's say our containers. Those containers over there, they contain some illegal substances that have been dropped at this dock, and we need to eliminate them so they can't get transported and do somebody harm somewhere. So we got to take care of that. So we're going to switch to helicopter mode. We're going to slow our roll down here a little bit, and then we're going to go like this. Oh, and we totally missed. Well, we got a couple of them. That was Q, and then E. Oh, E. E is obviously not E. All right, let's try that again, folks. Oh, really? And then these ones. Oh, so really? E and Q will fire our... And we totally missed. So we'll say that tower over there was our target. So we can go E. Boom, boom, and Q. And Q totally missed. And then we can take off again with our forward mode. And unfortunately, I can't control it from the pilot seat. But G opens up our guns underneath here, which we can control from the gunner's seat. But I'm not in the gunner's seat. Oh, so let's go back here. And so underneath here, let's see, are we in the, let's get in the gunner's seat. Now I can't control the propellers. Man, I just blew the front off. So from the gunner's seat, we can hit G to open up our guns here. Underneath here, we got 4 of them mini cannons, and then our spacebar toggles those to fire in sequence, and we also, using WASD, have the ability to control where our cannons are pointing, as long as we don't shoot ourselves. So that'd be kind of handy to have a second player in the front there, controlling the cannons, while somebody is up flying the actual helicopter itself. Good idea for 2-on-2 battles. Those were some interesting missiles, nice and small, explosive, of course, dynamite on there, so that we can fire all 4 at the same time if we want. Does pretty good damage. Alright, so that is the Vulcan chopper, attack chopper. That'll be uploaded to the shop. Let's take a look at our next build. Alright, so our next build is the Sword of Valeria. Now, in case you don't know, Valeria was Conan's date. So she was pretty nasty with a sword too. So I decided to build a ship in honor of Valeria. See, big, skinny blade. Basically, it's a giant sword, but it is a boat and a sub at the same time. So we got the handle back here. Everything is hidden inside the body, the majority of it. We got some cannons up here, so we can take out the enemy if we're not just going to plow into them with our giant sword. So let's jump up here into our aquatic seat and splash down into the water. So as you can see, we rise up out of the water. Now this thing is a boat. Space is our thrust. Does over 100 kilometers an hour, so it's definitely got some speed. We got good rotation and turning with a couple of underwater propellers in the front. We have a couple of fins in the front here that angle up and down. That's what helps us go under the water, because we are a sub as well. So we can zip along under the water. We don't have any underwater weapons, because our cannons, these particular cannons, won't fire underwater. But we can come up like this. Giant sword up out of the water. And see, when we keep our nose up out of the water like this, we can actually fire our cannons, which left shift toggles. And they just fire in a repeating pattern. Boom, boom, boom. Don't want to fire those when your nose is too close to the water, or else you just end up blowing the front of your own boat up. So that was a fun build. Try and make a giant sword. One of the very first things I built in Trailmakers quite a few years ago was a giant sword that Scrapman actually showed on his channel. It was the very first thing he looked at. So I thought, hey, we've got some new pieces, some new fancy. Let's see if we can make ourselves a new sword. The Sword of Doom actually flew. This one doesn't fly, but it is a boat and a sub. So you could have battles with your boats, sword battles, colliding into each other, or just coming up from underneath the water, underneath a boat, and pow! Sword time. Sword in your face time. So yeah, that is the Sword of Valeria. Thought it was pretty fancy with the little curlies there. Tried to make it look like a fancy sword. Didn't turn out too bad. It's about 620 complexity, so it's getting up near the limit for size-wise anyways. But it does make a good boat, and it cuts through the waves on the high seas really well as too. The big giant waves at the edge of the screen, you can actually surf on those waves. The ones that they're almost 90 degrees, right? They're almost vertical. So it rides those waves pretty well. So if you're interested in checking it out, I will upload this as well. Sword of Valeria will be on the Steam Workshop. Have a look-see. Alright, let's take a look at our final build. Alright, so the final build we're going to be taking a look at today is the Electric Blue Bomber. Now, see how flat it is? That's a real flat bomber. And it's doing some shaky stuff. But that's because it's just so damn flat. So this one looks like from the air. Kind of a unique shape. Our pilot seat is up here. We could jump in there. We got a little bit of lift control here. And we got some rotation in the back here with these fins here in the back. We got a couple of wings on there. And see all them logic blocks there? Them be bombs. So we're gonna bomb something. And we also have some guns up here that are doing the herky-jerky shake. Oh, actually, that's not a good direction for us to go. Let's go this way. So we hit the thrust. And we gets to flying. Just like this. It actually flies pretty good for something this big. Again, those sails work wonderfully as wings. So the Electric Blue Bomber. So the front here, we have cannons that we can actually use for fighting. If we hit number 2, you'll see those spread out, bringing our cannons all level to the front. And left shift gives us our repeating pattern with our mini cannons on the nose. So we can take out other fighters fairly decent rapid fire. We got fairly decent control with our flyer itself, our bomber. So we can defend ourselves if fighters decide to come. But we're pretty big, so it's pretty easy to hit. So number 1 is what drops our bombs and the bombuses. So our bombs will drop sequentially. It's almost like a mini carpet bomber. So let's go over here to our target. Let's say that the spawn point over here is our target, and that's what we're going to go try and bomb. Let's say we can bomb this sucker. So we go slow down just a little bit like this. Then we're going to hit number 1. They all detach. Big and many bombs. Big and many bombs go boom. So all of those detach sequentially. Let's take a look at that again, shall we? And then we drop our bombs with number 1. And there they all go. Something tells me we're about to run into something. I knew it. I predicted that. I saw the future, and the future was destruction. Speaking of destruction, I'll be coming out with a video right soon in Instruments of Destruction. And it's got a couple of new cool builds in there. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so you'll know when that video comes out. Alright, let's rebuild Electric Blue. Let's get back in here, try and take off. Oh, hey. Oh, this is not going to end well. Oh, can we pull it out? Can we pull it out? Oh, lordy. Oh, no, that didn't work out at all. Alright, let's try again. And this thing does actually have landing gear. You can see that it's actually sitting on some little foots. So there's the little chrome landing gear underneath that keeps it just barely off of the ground, so that we can actually land and take off with some small landing gear. They're just sliding landing gear. It's not actually wheels. But that's simply so that we're not landing on the actual thrusters themselves. Landing gear folds up out of the way. This was just an interesting, unique shape. I thought I just built the frame and thought, okay, well, how can I make this into a big fighter or a flyer of some kind? And this is what I came up with. Over here, I wonder if we can fly through a hoop of fire. I think the hoops are big enough that this could fly through it. I think. Yep. Ta-da! Cool stunt. Can you find another? Alright, let's bomb these barrels. We bombed all kind of things. So yeah, for something this big and flat, the only wings are on the very back there just to give it a little bit of extra lift and some control surfaces. But other than that, it's all sails. Sails and thrusters, because they're just so darn stable. So yeah, Electric Blue Bomber. And you don't want to fire those guns when you still have them closed, because then you'll blow your tips off, and then you got nothing to give you lift. But that works pretty good. That's a pretty rapid fire cannon. Probably take somebody out of the air using that. So yep, that's all I got for you in this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Hope everyone's staying well. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And we will see you in the next one. Ciao.